Resident Evil 4 Remake leaks. They're back and we have to go over them in this video. Also, if you guys missed my other first Remake leaks video, it's in my other channel. I have like 3 videos on there before I switched over to this one. As I said, you know, I had some account issues over there, so I had to switch over to this new channel. But yeah, if you enjoy what you see here, you can also check out what I have over there. Anyways, let's get started. So as in my first leak video, I did give some credibility and I gave some opinion whether I believe this leak or not. We're gonna do that again in this video. And don't forget guys, these are just leaks. They're up for speculation and debate. So at the end of the day, don't take these too seriously, but it's the least we can get while we wait for the game. So yeah, let's open up our curiosity. Now the first leak states there was a boss fight area that was cut and also an enemy. Now this is kind of believable. Boss fight areas do get switched up a lot as we've seen in the remakes, and there's also a cut enemy. It doesn't specify which cut enemy got cut, so you guys can go ahead and comment down below and give your opinion and your guesses on that. Next up, it states the game action segments will be like RE3 Remake and RE Village. That kind of does make sense. RE3 Remake did go a little over the top with the action, especially with the boss introductions. So yeah, I feel like this makes sense. The remakes also have had similar gameplay, movement, and shooting mechanics. So yeah, this kind of does fit into RE4 Remake. So yeah, RE Village also is a copy clone of RE4, so it's a no-brainer it got brought up in this leak. How much action it's implying here is yet to be shown. As we've seen, Chris went full-on Call of Duty no-scope Dorito mode in the night portion of the village, so I'm not really sure how much action it's implying here.
Triple kill!
But yeah, let's move on. There will be stalker roles in the game. Now this topic in particular is very controversial, as some people don't like this anymore. Some people are fed up with this stalker role thing in the remakes, and some people actually like it. I don't have a huge problem with it as long as they flesh it out right. I would preferably like Dr. Salvador to stalk you throughout the game. That would be pretty awesome, you know? But yeah, anyways, also the Hookman is going to be in the game as a boss fight with some beta assets, which is very good. I cannot stress enough how much I go over the Hookman and the beta version of RE4 in my recent videos. The Hookman was just a great concept and overall just a great enemy to introduce into Resident Evil. I just hope to give him some more lore and backstory in the remake, as in the beta they never gave him any backstory. He was just kind of a prototype, so it would be very interesting to maybe see some documents or some papers regarding some symptoms of the Plaga infection, which makes you hallucinate this enemy. That would be very interesting to see, like possibly everybody that gets the Plaga infection encounters the same hallucination or a similar enemy within their mind. Next leak, it states that it starts you off as Ashley first in the game before Leon, which kind of maybe is a possibility. We see Ashley in the village roaming by herself in the trailer, and we never really seen that in the past, and everyone always kind of figured, hey, that's kind of interesting. Ashley's just roaming the village by herself in the trailer. Maybe we get to play as her. I think this is very cool. I would love to see Ashley go through a whole nightmare before Leon goes there and just express how dangerous the situation is and how bad it can turn really fast if Leon doesn't get there in time to save her. Now next up, it states Krauser is in the remake and his character will be fleshed out more, which is a topic I discussed on this channel about why he will not be cut from the remake. I pretty much made this prediction even though there was leaks suggesting earlier that he will be cut. So yeah, be sure to check out that video as well. It's on this channel. I go full depth into why Krauser won't be cut. So yeah, told you guys, let's move on. Giant spiders will be in the remake. Very interesting enemy choice. We never saw giant spiders get fleshed out in the original RE4. We did see them get fleshed out in RE3 Remake, but let me explain why this kind of doesn't make sense, but it also kind of does. So if you look closely at the Plaga, it does resemble an insect. It also resembles some kind of spider. Also take note that the last boss encounter in RE4 with Sadler, he does mutate into a giant spider. So something to think about. Let me know down below what you guys think about this. The remake will introduce 8 new enemies, which is a must. You know, it's also vital to reintroduce the old enemies into the remake and some new ones, as that's what makes the remake feel refreshing and new. Also, there was a lot of concept art designs for enemies that never made the cut into the remake, so I'm assuming a good amount of these will come back in the remake. The remake will have a lot of stealth mechanics introduced, which is kind of controversial. You know, the original RE4 formula was action horror. This might create an imbalance in the remake and might create a lot of problems for people that don't want to see things like this. I did bring this up in a recent video in my other channel where I said I would like to see an optional stealth mechanic. You know, maybe some enemies are too vicious or dangerous to come on one-on-one, so you might have to sneak by, especially if you're low on ammo. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. The merchant will have more backstory as well as Dr. Salvador, which is very good. We need to get some more info on these guys. But you know, this is already a problem for me reading this leak page. I swear the last leaks I read that the merchant had lore planned to be established, but was cut to keep him mysterious. So all in general, like I said before, these leaks are very inconsistent and are always battling each other on what's gonna come and what's not gonna come. So at the end of the day, take these leaks with a grain of salt. They're always battling up against each other and they don't make sense. So yeah, let's move on anyways. They're just kind of interesting to talk about. The island will have less action and be more focused around the lab most of the game, which does make sense, and this was a leak also in the other leak page. And all in general, it does make sense. You know, a lot of complaints about RE4 with the island, way too much action, not enough horror. So yeah, this one is very, very correct. I do believe this one, just from a common sense point of view. Mercenaries is returning, which is a must, and I'm very curious to see if we'll get some new characters along with Mercenaries. Will Hunk make a return? You know, the whole idea of Hunk being in RE4 has some backstory. He was planned to be in the beta version of RE4, hence why he's only in Mercenaries, and he's never introduced into the RE4 story. Which characters would you like to see return in Mercenaries? I'm pretty sure Luis will get a segment. But yeah, Dr. Salvador will be a stalker enemy in the remake. He will be taller than Leon, which in my opinion is a good move. This will make him much more intimidating and much more scary. And this kind of reminds me of the Super Salvador we've seen in the Mercenaries. I mean, does anybody remember playing Mercenaries for the first time on the Waterworld level as a kid and seeing the Super Salvador coming at you? That was very scary, and now we will get to see something like that in the story. Also, apparently Dr. Salvador will be a boss fight in the warehouse when Luis and Leon are fighting off the Ganados, which is very interesting. The game will also have a first-person point of view perspective, which does make sense. I mean, look at Resident Evil Village. The upcoming DLC in October is going to include a third-person point of view, so you'll be able to switch between, kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5 and kind of like a bunch of games that come out these days. Also, did you know that the first-person perspective was planned to also be in the original RE4, aka the beta? You were going to be able to switch between perspectives, but that never made an appearance and it never came out. Finally, the question you guys have all been wondering for a while now, the kick mechanic is returning. We will get to see Bruce Lee Leon return and roundhouse and drop kick the fuck out of enemies again. Whether or not there's some new melee moves introduced was yet to be known or seen in the leak page. But yeah, you guys can sleep easy at night knowing this info, as a lot of people were worried that this might not return considering the trailer is more horror focused and more atmospheric, and plus the recent Resident Evil games have not have any mechanics like this either. Ashley's character will be improved upon helping Leon unlock doors, and she will also carry a small knife, which I assume she can use. She will be able to also push enemies and give Leon stuff to help him in battle. I kind of mentioned this before, that she kind of finally goes through puberty in the remake, but you know, a lot of this does kind of sound like RE5. Sheva did do similar things like this. She kind of drop kicked enemies when you were captured, she helped you pick up items, and she gave you resources that you needed throughout the game. I personally believe this one's not hard to believe, as the whole RE5 formula was kind of based on RE4 gameplay as well, just with a co-op partner. Apparently now also the Bella sisters are going to be cut from the remake, which this one I don't believe, and don't believe it also. This is just a leak page, may I remind you. Also, Albert Wesker will be a small boss fight. This, in my opinion, is an interesting topic, as I was kind of like one of the first people to mention this, or kind of just give some backstory as to why this is possible and why we can expect to see Wesker be more prominent in the remake. Be sure to check out my recent video that I just uploaded a week ago, as I go over this topic in the video and I discuss why it makes sense that we can expect to see Wesker come back in the remake. Next up, the gameplay will be more survival focused, which makes sense. This is survival horror at the end of the day. Also, we get to fight two versions of Saddler. We fight a human version of Saddler and a spider Saddler, which kind of did come in the original RE4, but you only fought the human version of Saddler if you played the Separate Ways campaign. So maybe we're gonna get both of those enemies return in Leon's story. The side characters will have a mini story DLC, which is very possible, as we've seen in RE2 Remake with Hunk and some more characters that were in the story. The demo release date is either November, December, or January, which I hope is November, as I would love to get my hands on this remake demo as soon as possible. Even October, Halloween is coming up. That would be a great demo release date. And in my opinion, releasing the demo a lot earlier than expected would be a good move for Capcom in regarding sales, hype, and build up for the release of the game. So yeah guys, that's all the content I have for today regarding the Resident Evil 4 remake leaks. As I said before, be sure to check out my recent videos on this channel and also the few I have on my other main channel that got cancelled. And yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed what you've seen today on this video, be sure to smash a like and subscribe. I will be uploading more content like this and more opinions and thoughts about the remake and more interesting content. As always guys, I'll see you guys next time.